the thing that's dominating the last half hour of the show here is the report from Yahoo Sports, Houston Chronicle, the Athletic now as well, that Texas A&M is zeroing in on Trev Alberts as the next AD at Texas A&M. However, there is a Chris Dunker from the Lincoln Journal-Star reached out to, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, and I apologize because I've never said the interim president of Nebraska's name before, Chris Kabaruk. He's reached out to him. He is technically Trev's boss right now. And he says, Trev has not told me that he has accepted the A&M position. So as of right now, this is just 11th hour business. That's where we're at.
I'm just telling you.
Okay. You're putting it out there right now.
I am. I said it before the break.
Mm-hmm.
But before we start any of the slander and speculations about who Trev is or isn't,
mm-hmm.
I would hold on.
Because you don't think he's going?
My gut says no.
Okay.
I'm on record.
I appreciate you going.
You can say, DB, my gut says Trev Alberts is not going to Texas A&M. And I'm willing to be wrong.
He's got a lot invested here.
So all the things that I've known for, as he said just 2 weeks ago
mm-hmm.
to me, over half my life.
Mm-hmm.
Over half my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we're talking about a guy that went out of his way to make a stop at a high school for an event to be a part of, get some signatures for something that was important to him. And we talked extensively about mm-hmm. the job mm-hmm. and what it means to him.
This is when you had the moat conversation, right?
Yeah, this is the moat conversation. Yeah. I don't listen. I know I'm supposed to. My MO is to be the calm guy in the choppy waters, and if I felt like I was going to lose my bearings and couldn't be a voice of reason, I would get off the air.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
My heart of hearts says there's nothing about how this whole thing is shaken out
that makes sense.
That makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
That is indicative of who.
That's in line with what you know about Trev.
Who Trev is,
right?
I'll say that out loud. I don't have any problems.
Number
one, he would talk to his interim president.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, he would talk to his executive staff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that any of that's happened. Now,
it may still happen, but you don't think we're there yet?
No. And I just don't think I just don't think that's a situation he wants to walk into if he doesn't have to, because it's not money.
If it's not about the money, which you don't think it is, which is fair,
nah,
then I don't know what
he wouldn't go through the headache.
I mean,
A&M is a tough team.
Yeah, I would say I don't know what A&M offers. If it's not money, I don't know what A&M offers that Nebraska doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is a difficult athletic department situation, because they think they're Alabama. They think they should be Alabama. They spend like Alabama. They're not Alabama, right? Results-wise, that's not who they've been, but that's who they expect to be. That's a really difficult position to be in anywhere in that athletic department. And so unless it is for the money, that's a really hard sell for most people, right?
Yeah.
And so, I agree with you. I don't know Trev. It would be odd to me if it was a money grab. Right? And that's what
it's not.
And that's what it would
listen to what I'm telling you. It's not.
And I believe you. I do. But that's the only thing that Texas A&M has to offer, I think. So if it's not that, then it makes sense for you to say, I don't think he's going.
No.
Right? Because you've known Trev, what, 30 years? You guys crossed over a little bit, right?
32.
Yeah.
33.
So you've known him since you were a kid, basically.
And it wasn't just like, I don't know, man. He asked me to be on his committee at Omaha.
Yeah.
Right? For Marlon Briscoe.
Mm-hmm. So there's a real relationship there.
Real relationship.
This isn't just fly by night.
When he had
tangentially,
when he had some athletes that he wanted to do internships,
mm-hmm.
he was like, "Hey, I really like Hurrdat. I like what you guys are doing." He picked up the phone and called.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Hey, my boss, can I give her your contact information?" Yeah. Hey, DB, I trust you. Please do. I said, "Okay, I'm going to weave you in on a group." Like little stuff like that.
There's a real relationship.
Yeah,
there.
I'm not pulling this out of my rear end. And like I said, I'm willing to be wrong. And there would be a lot of explaining to do. I just feel like I know how he
more
works
about him
better than most.
You know more about him than certainly anyone else that's on the air.
Locally, yeah, for sure,
and
100%.
probably more than most just universally.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of
It
people.
just doesn't like now. Again, what I don't know is anything that may have really is anything that may have happened
within the last couple weeks,
with
family wise.
It wouldn't even be the last couple of weeks. It would be like the last week.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really annoying. Like, can we turn that off? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing here. Got some nice soundtrack music for the end of our Trev conversation.
And the other thing is with that, I can barely focus. Thank you. I just don't. Number one, he wouldn't at this stage of his career. He wouldn't invite any unnecessary headaches.
Yeah, which this would be a
short
lot.
of gun to head. He would be inheriting a ton of variables that are out of his control. It's just not how he operates.
Guys that he didn't pick, guys that he didn't hire, guys that he doesn't know.
And furthermore, you'd have to go back and explain to your staff. Just think about all the staff meetings and the meetings that he's had with Coach Rule.
Also, you have to go explain to Coach Rule.
Right?
Because
the two key people and reasons why he was here other than his wife.
Trev Alberts.
Yep.
Admiral Carter.
Right.
Yeah. Admiral Carter left.
I just can't see him doing that to Nebraska.
Which I know people were upset about and were a little surprised by. But the difference between that and this is Trev is Nebraska through and through.
And I'm telling you, man, he would talk to his executive staff first.
You would think so. I mean,
because there's no these are long-lasting relationships.
And theoretically, people that he would ask at least some of them to go with him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are people he trusts, people he works with well. You know, when you think about taking a new job and you're in a position where you can bring people with you, usually you start to feel out those conversations.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, like, I'm gonna stand on business here. I just think I can't. And this isn't, I can separate my emotions and the personal relationship to keep it 100 and
to have a logical conclusion.
I can be logical and I'm processing through this obviously real time.
Yeah, which is difficult.
So I'm just telling you, like, to sit across the table from that executive staff, to go to Lindsay or Doug or anybody on that executive team and say, hey, I know I haven't said anything, but I'm gone. Like, it goes against everything that he's ever stood for. And I don't think he wants to have to go back and clean that up. Well, because even if you're
for sure,
because even if you're upset with him for what happened at Omaha, right? He's eaten some of that.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's the one thing that you're holding against him, believe me, like it still eats at him a little. And I think that's younger Trev. This is a little older, more experienced Trev. I can't see him inviting that kind of headache.
Well, and we mentioned this earlier, but the other part of this is, his legacy at Nebraska, and that seems like something that matters to him.
Yeah.
Getting Nebraska back to where he believes they should be seems like something that's important to him.
It just
A, he hasn't finished that job, and B, we said this earlier, he would never be able to come back here.
Listen, Aaron, stop overreacting. Nothing has happened yet. Stop overreacting.
I think part of the issue we're seeing here is the initial report was targeted.
Yeah, I mean,
and that they're moving towards. They're working on it.
Do you think he really wants to give the university back $4.2 million?
I would guess no. If I had $4.2 million, I would not want to give it back.
But that's what he would owe.
Yeah, and I'm sure Texas A&M would make it worth his while.
I just can't see. It's just too messy.
It is. It's very messy. It's incredibly messy. I will say, I want to make sure people are clarified here, because the original report from Brent Zwinnerman from the Houston Chronicle is that Trev Alberts is being targeted and he expects the deal to get done.
Yeah.
Other people are saying Trev Alberts to Texas A&M is done. That at this point at 9:55 a.m. Central Time is not the case. Targeted, yes. moving towards an agreement? Maybe. He has not left. He has not told interim president, his current boss, that he's leaving. At this point, that's where we're at. If there's anything more, we will keep you updated. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. This is Hurrdat Sports Radio.